This is the Ruby and Majesty Treasure Team Devlog number 4 with yours truly, the Wizard. Lots of changes this week. I'm going to try to keep it short. The big thing is I recolored every single sprite in the game. I'm only using 4 colors now: white, a light gray, a dark gray, and black. Which meant changing the way a lot of the elements looked. The backgrounds now are just the gray and the dark gray, and the characters have changed dramatically. I have based them off of a public domain sprite sort of set, tile set, if you will. There's a link to it under here. It's from opengameart.org. Quite excellent. But as you can see now, Ruby looks a little more like a person. Less detail in the face, more detail in the body. That's kind of the theme. You can also see that her legs no longer sort of they don't disappear or get mangled by the floor tiles now. Because the floor tiles no longer have black pixels on them, as her legs used to be totally black, and the black pixels on the floor tiles just sometimes made her legs look bizarre. Her running animation might get a few more frames, but for right now, that's its jam. Majesty has changed quite a bit. This is a 4-frame animation with the motion trail, 2-frame chill out animation. She also makes that tambourine sound when she lands now, that I like. But she looks way more bat-like now. She will stand out on basically any background at this point, other than the holes, which there is a solution for. So if she flies over a hole, which she's the only thing that will be going over the holes, now she makes a little particle sort of under her when she's on the hole so that you can actually see it. Pretty cool. That was my solution to that problem. You'll see too that the walls look way less detailed, which is for the best. To just make them really pop. I just want everything to read much better. You can just see too that the lighting has changed. I'm now using 3 concentric circles instead of 1 gradient circle, which means that the lighting is a little crisper. And in here, well, we don't see any in here, but I can add one here. I've also made a sideways lantern, a side-mounted lantern, I guess, which looks like that over here. Looks basically like the other lanterns, but it's a little different, so it looks like it's a little mounted on the side, which there are a lot of places where I can't fit these type of lanterns, the regular ones. I was thinking of just building them into some of the walls, but I didn't think that was a good solution either, so I came up with just this sideways one, which was a real quick fix, because there's a lot of places where I can put it on the side. They can be invisible too, but I prefer not to use the invisible ones because they just look a little goofy. Especially if they're sort of by themselves out somewhere. Sideways lantern. Pretty awesome. I think that's all I wanted to show on this room. Just some of those big changes. And here's kind of a lot of the new elements and things too. And this will show you what some of the most of the elements in the game look like now. This room contains a wide variety of the stuff that's in the game, including some new things like these lightning rods, I guess I'm calling them, which are hazardous to both player characters and creatures. This cool like shadow ruby that you see now on the bottom there, that's spawnable. Kind of like that doppelganger mounter thing that I made last week, but it can push blocks and bombs, which is really awesome. So there can be puzzles where you not only have to keep track of Ruby and Majesty, but also the shadow thing. Obviously, that will probably not appear until pretty far into the game. Or if it appears before that, it will be in a very, very simple situation, because it can easily get overwhelming. Now that teleport there, the teleport effect has been drastically changed to just make it a lot bigger, a lot easier to see, and it now affects where you were and where you're going, so that you don't have to be, it's just to sort of draw your eye there. Pretty useful. We're seeing that particle again under Majesty as she flies over the hole. Ah, shit. Alright, let's do this again. That's our bomb from last week. The bomb spawner thing has changed because I've made spawners for all of the enemies now, to kind of simplify how their trigger works. And that's the turret, the arrow shooting thing in the bottom right, triggered by that button that Ruby's pressing. It has a new animation now. It sort of winds up before it shoots. Yeah, cool. And that has its own, the arrows now have their own shadow. I'm pretty pumped about, because they used to have just like a weird like circle shadow. Now they just draw the, looks like the arrow. Cool. Okay, so let's try to play this puzzle here. So there's that target button on the right. We got to do this, shoot the target. It pushes that hand, pushes that bomb, pulls up that wall, which zaps that thing with the lightning, and allows Majesty to fly over there. That button also put up these walls, which made these this electric stuff turn off. That wall disappears there. Press the button, pushes the hand, the key gets pushed, then we can warp out of here. It took me less tries than as before, which is good. And that's the puzzle. So, the electricity, that's totally new. The conveyor belts and the pushing and the block collision and even the player collision has all been updated. There's even, hopefully this won't bug out, I can show you an interesting little thing here about the collision. So we've got two pushable blocks. Pushable blocks cannot be pushed into the characters unless they're the ones that slide, and then if they travel far enough they will just kill the characters. But at this point now, Ruby has trapped Majesty. Majesty says she's stuck. And that's part of the collision code. Because I've finally got it to where she has a smaller collision box when she's stationary. And if she starts moving here, she just gets pushed over. That way, when Majesty is sitting still, she's actually a smaller target, left and right, laterally. Right? She's less wide than when she's flying. And that little dialogue thing is just a way of letting you know that she's stuck. I don't know if there will be a puzzle that will ever require Majesty to get into that position, but now I know I can do it. And this works the same with the pushy blocks. Pushy blocks need to travel a full grid space, which is 16 pixels, or they will hurt the characters. So she'll get stuck there too. Those are the slidey blocks. Slidey, pushy, etc. But I'll do the same thing with the hand, conveyor belts, etc. Let's also show you here a little bit about how these lightning jams work. They're a little awesome. Very awesome. So these can be chained together pretty easily. They just do, they send an output to whatever they're connected to. And disable them by running a block through, and they'll turn right back on as well. The lightning effect is really just a line that's drawn with a little bit of randomization. And there's a new lighting script that I built too to make those little points of light created by the lightning, which I've also found some other uses for since making it, because it was something that I was lacking, not realize it. You can see here a little bit more clearly how the lighting system works now with Majesty and Ruby. You'll also notice that Majesty has puts off a lot more light than Ruby does, and that's intentional. There are going to be puzzles that will use that. I haven't built any of them yet, but there will be. It might not be quite so extreme, but it will be that. Very cool. Okay. The enemy spawners, again, they work just like spawners for the bombs that I showed off last time. So they can be set to be invisible. They can be triggered by a button, in which case they don't start with anything. Hit the button, it spawns a thing. As long as it's still alive, the button will not spawn it again. It's a little different from the bombs. The bombs will just keep spawning bombs, but bombs are a little bit more temporary. Kill it though. Hit the button again. It's back. Cool beans. Cool thing we can do with this though is have it be invisible. We can have the button be invisible. So you're just chilling. Oh, there it is. Right, it just shows up out of nowhere. So that'll definitely happen at some point. And that's the same with any of the enemy spawners. So the Pacers, the Chaser, and the Doppel, which are the main enemies now. Let's see. I can show you my flamethrower. It's not done, so I'm not going to bother with that. And I think that's it. Lots of great work this week. I think the style, the visual style of the game is really coming together. I'm going to try to be pushing the sort of creepy and cute angle as hard as I can. I've got these kind of freaky faces, right, and the lightning things. You'll see too. Actually, let me show you that. So if you turn them off, you may have noticed it in the first part, but if you turn them off, the face just goes away, right? So some kind of freaky ghost or something in there. I don't know. It's something. I'm trying to push that angle. That's one of the things that'll be doing that. Yeah, that's basically it. I'm really, really pumped about all the changes. Not too many new levels, but I'm going to be making some more today. I'm hoping to make about 70 to 80 levels for the first sort of leg of the game, which will be completely linear. Just teaching the various mechanics. I'm going to probably make 80 levels and then trim it down to about 50 to 60, hopefully. And then sort of revise that. So that'll be a playable thing, hopefully very soon. I have to do a few more tests on how the new editor implementation, how that works with the actually running the game. Haven't done that yet. Only have tested the testing and building so far, but that shouldn't be too much. Shouldn't require too much time there. And then this new stuff will be playable with the new music, the new sound effects, new graphics, new levels. And then once I tweak that a bit, I'm going to start building the bigger part of the game. If 50 to 60 rooms doesn't sound like a huge amount, I'm going to be building a big, the sort of adventure part of the game there, where it's much less linear, where there will be the need for certain backtracking, rooms that are sort of multi-room puzzles, various gatekeeping kind of mechanics, such as the keys and other things. I'm going to be expanding that. I'm going to be building some more objects for that as well. Possibly NPCs and dialogue trees and stuff too are all sort of, they're clinking around in the old dome piece, so we'll see we'll see what gets added, but those are definitely on the list. So hopefully that was insightful. hopefully you're as excited as I am. And stay tuned for more. Of course, there's always links beneath the video for the playable version. I will include that link to the sprite set, as well as the soundtrack, as far as what's done on SoundCloud. You can check that out already. And to my Twitch channel, which you can check out some live development on periodically. Thanks for watching.